Today we're going to be talking about the community transmission for Geonosis from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Hello everyone, my name's Jack here on Star Wars Galaxy, and as you can tell by the title, we are obviously going to be talking about the latest community transmission from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Ben Walk, the community manager for the game, just posted this literally minutes ago, talking about the transmission and what all the details on it. So we're going to be going over it today. Now, of course, this community transmission is based on Geonosis, as you can see on screen now. It's talking about things such as the ATTE, the way the map work, and the way the ATTE is a reinforcement, and just some general overviews as well as the living world, some sandstorm mechanics, and the other vehicles. I'm going to be going over all of this with you today, so stay tuned as we dig into it and see everything. So let's get started with the first part. So Ben talks about, most of the Galactic Assault maps, so like Naboo, Kashyyyk, and other maps like that. All of the final fights take place in confined spaces. On Naboo, it's the throne room, where you box in and have to capture a center bit. In Endor, obviously you have to get in the Imperial Complex. It's really hard in there sometimes. And, a variety of other maps as well. So the goal behind that was originally to create as much intensity as they possibly could. In the final stages of the map, they feel like all-out warfare, which you can kind of see it does work. But sometimes, as me and a lot of the other community have suggested, it would be nice to have a lot more of an open plan like this. Well, it appears the developers have seen that feedback that the community requested, and they're going to try and do something different. So instead, like they kind of did with Kessel Extraction, where it was quite open, you had to get to Millennium Falcon, but you had everyone firing you from long distance, stuff like that, they're now going to try something like this. So Ben says, for Geonosis, we're looking to take it a step further. The final two phases are very open, which makes it ideal for vehicular-based combat and gives its own identity and gameplay experience that is different from what is currently available within Galactic Assault. That's great news. So when developers actually say Geonosis is going to be one of the newest and best maps they've ever done, it seems like they really mean it. Alright, let's talk about my favourite ground unit in the whole of Star Wars, the ATTE. Now this is going to be the centerpiece of Geonosis. It is the ATTE, the six-legged armor walker, is fully controllable and plays a vital role on the battlefront. So Ben goes on to say, one of the key differences between the ATTE and any other vehicle in the game is that they are dynamically dropped in real time into the player's space as the battle goes on. This creates a lot of interesting scenarios, and we're excited to see how this plays out once Geonosis arrives later this month. What this also means is that you'll not be able to pick the ATTE from the spawn screen. You will encounter them within the environment itself. One might be dropped just ahead of you, or you might turn the corner to see one ready and waiting for you to jump in. Now this heavily reminds me of the original Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm talking about the 2005 one, by the way, where you can run around Geonosis and bang, an ATTE is there, you can hop into it and bang, you're walking along a battlefield. This is amazing news, and I really want to see the community's reaction to that there, because for once that means you're not going for battle points, you're not going for weird emblems you need to pick up to activate vehicles, you're actually just going to be able to hop in it. It's something a lot of people have been asking for quite a while now. So I like the sound of that and can't wait to see how well it does. Okay, so let's talk about the different phases of the map. So starting with phase 1. You've got to reactivate a damaged ATTE. So Ben says the first phase is very much focused on infantry combat, with the clones needing to call in reinforcements and reactivate a damaged ATTE. During this phase, the objective of the droids is to stop them. The phase will take place in typical Geonosian canyons, with plenty of pathways and cover available. So it seems like this map might operate differently than Galactic Assault maps operate. You're going to be confined and then open up into large scale combat. Sounds pretty cool, and I can't wait to see how this plays. So, phase 2, the hard cell troop transport. Sounds pretty interesting, right? The second phase marks a shift from infantry to vehicular combat. With vehicles now coming into play, the tight canyons will give away to vast battlefront, meaning a change in tactics and gameplay will be required. The objective during this phase is to bring down or defend, depending on your team, 2 hard cell troop transports. Mechanically and gameplay wise, this objective is a mixture of destroy the objective, as seen on creative regenerators, and walkers, the hard cell troop transports, are static objects that the clones need to destroy before they run out of tickets. However, they will need to be weakened before serious damage can be dealt to them, similar to walkers. This can be achieved by using special abilities on the ATTEs that ties into the overarching theme of the Geonosian ATTEs being the cornerstone of the battle. Interesting. So the ATTEs are going to be pivotal to the battlefront here for the clone side, which is going to be really cool. And I can't wait to see how the droid side plays into this as well, as you know they're going to have a pivotal role in stopping the clone army. Interesting. Alright, let's move on to phase 3. This is titled Secure the Turbolasers. The third phase is set an all-out attack by the clones. Their goal is to recapture some abandoned turbolasers to take down the droid core ship. During this phase, the droids must do everything they can to defend the turbolasers or loss will be imminent. Gameplay wise, this is a capture point, but with a twist. As noted earlier, we didn't want to create a narrow funnel towards the end of the battle, so this capture point is actually around 200 meters wide. Wow, that's big. You may be inclined to think this could turn into an infinitely contested objective. To prevent this from occurring, the capture point can only be captured by the ATTEs. In addition to this, the capture cannot be contested. This creates a scenario where the clones know that they need to escort the ATTEs into the area so they can capture it. At the same time, the droids can see these slow moving giants approaching from a distance and plan accordingly. The intent here is to create the feeling of a battle where the game is not won or lost by a single person sneaking in and taking the objective. Rather, its entire army moving forward and playing the objective together. Now, I love the sound of this personally. It reminds me of the Battle of Geonosis, and I really can't wait to see how this plays out. Again, Geonosis is coming towards the end of this month, so we're going to have plenty of time to mess around in it and see how well it actually does. Now, I like the way we're going to test this. Again, I'm interested to see the community's response to that whole 200 meter wide capture point. I think that's going to get some very discussion going on the Reddit, so we'll have to check back in at some point. Alright, new logic. Ben goes on to talk about the ATTE as a reinforcement. So he goes, with the difference in objectives coming into play, we had to change up the way reinforcements work. Usually one reinforcement equals one trooper. However, for the second and third phase, one reinforcement will equal one ATTE. This means that dying as a clone trooper during this phase won't drain your team's ticket. A transition from trooper reinforcements to ATTE reinforcements happens between phase 1 and 2. And we got a bit of a glimpse of the map there as well, which I'll chuck up on screen now, so we can sort of see how well it's going to go there, and wow, that is a big map is what I can tell you. To give all droids a chance to help, we use missile launchers, as seen in other Walker phases, in a slightly different way. There will be more of these available, the range much longer than normal, and the lock-on time very short. In addition to this, droids won't be marked while holding the launcher by the other team, however they won't make the ATC weaken, instead just deal damage. Makes sense. Gonna be interesting to see how it plays out there, and hopefully this is balanced in a way, because I can see that getting quite spammy, and the clones can't make any headway. Again, I hope they've bug tested this and QA tested it quite thoroughly, as I could see with some of these new mechanics, it launching and being a mess, but hopefully that isn't the case. We will just have to wait and see when this actually does roll around. So now talking about Geonosis as a living world. To bring this battle fully to life, a lot of things are going on outside the playable space, something we're calling the living world. The vistas and the feelings of a massive battle going on is crucial to delivering the experience. You're not just fighting with a squad, you're fighting with a squad as part of a huge planetary battle that is raging on around you. So we're talking about the sandstorm. You're fighting through a dense sandstorm was one of the most iconic scenes from Geonosis, and something the developers really wanted to recreate. The sandstorm will occur during the transition phase from 2 to 3, when the final hard cell troop transport has been destroyed. While fighting through the sandstorm, visibility is heavily reduced, and even though you're fighting in a completely open area, you'll feel like it's close range gameplay. Running through the storm with blast bolts firing over is a great experience and definitely something which adds to the unique gameplay experience that Geonosis will offer. Okay, now we're moving on to some more interesting parts. The OG homing spider droid. I'll chuck up the screenshot on screen right now. This one looks quite cool. So as the clones fight their way towards the turbolaser, they'll have to clear quite a few homing spider droids. You can see this in the above picture. These droids will deal significant damage to both ATTs and troopers if not taken care of. Their presence means the ATTs can't just blindly keep walking toward the enemy objective. That kind of makes sense. I'm going to be interested to see how well they perform on the battlefield as well. I could imagine they could be a bit of a nuisance to friendly clone troopers. I wonder if starfighters are going to have a presence on this map. So this talks about the behind the scenes and the design process of the game. Creating a new planet always brings its own set of challenges, and Geonosis was no different. The main challenge for us was around the ATTEs. We wanted the ATTE to be needed to succeed to create more team play and focus the fight around the six-legged giants. However, what happens if people don't know how to weaken the hard cells or don't move forward during phase 3? Our user interface and voiceover lines play a pivotal role here. It's something we've worked a lot on and already are still working on ahead of its release. Looking at it from a droid's perspective, the same thing could happen. If no one is trying to take down the ATTEs, then it'll probably be an easy victory for the clones. While we have been playing Geonosis ourselves, we can never know for sure how the battles will play out if in the public eye. Players will always find some ways to play across planets in a way that we hadn't thought of, but we'll certainly be paying close attention and will adapt things if things aren't working as well as they should. Interesting point there from developers. So they're basically saying they'll adapt it if it doesn't suit the way they want it to play, which is a good idea to be honest, as sometimes these maps could not go according to plan. This has always been found out through many different games where, the developers design it to play one way and the community end up loving it and playing it a different way. It's quite funny, but also can cause issues on how it's actually meant to be played. This is amplified somewhat by the change in gameplay compared to other Galactic Assault planets. However, we feel that changing gameplay like this will add more value for our players than just making another classic Walker phase. Pretty interesting. So Ben then goes on to talk about the incoming update, which is the Battle of Geonosis. Geonosis will release later this month alongside the Battle of Geonosis update. We've got more to talk about, starting with vehicles and then into Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. As always, please leave your feedback in the comment threads below. We look forward to deploying Geonosis with this month. And obviously before Ben goes, he says, but one last thing before we sign off, we thought we'd give you a behind the scenes glimpse of some work in progress shots of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'll include these on screen now. Quite a few little things there of Kenobi spinning a lightsaber around. It looks quite cool. We've also got an early concept of his Jedi robes. It looks quite cool. So yeah, that's the community transmission for Star Wars Battlefront today. As you can see, it is filled with juicy information there. And I know myself and the rest of the community are going to enjoy this quite a lot. As I've said many times now, the future for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is looking bright, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. Again, I really want to know your opinions on this latest community transmission down below in the comment section, so make sure to leave it there. Again, I've been Jack here on Star Wars Galaxy, thank you for watching, and we look forward to discussing the Geonosian battle with you very soon. Cheers guys, and goodbye.